Dorfromantik is a game that I was immediately smitten with when it came into early access, and I picked it up last year. I've been eagerly waiting its version 1.0 release, and now that it's out there, I can safely say that this is one of my favourite relaxing puzzle strategy games that I have played in recent memory, and it's so engrossing, so relaxing, and so aesthetically pleasing from a visual, audio and gameplay loop perspective that I will wholeheartedly recommend this game to anyone and everyone. So what's this game all about? I will try and stop waxing lyrical and actually give you the details. Every game in Dorfromantik starts off with a central hexagonal block, and your tiles that you have on the bottom right hand side of the screen will be randomly generated too. The idea is to try and get the highest score in the normal mode, or classic mode as it's called in the game, by moving tiles next to each other to create either a collection of houses to make a village, loads of trees to make forests, fields to make lots and lots of cornfields and windmills and so on and so forth. And then you've got rail and river to try and make a very European-esque city that sprawls out from the tiles that you place. However, your tiles are constantly decreasing, and so the way how you can keep getting more tiles, although you will get to that inevitable end where you'll run out of tiles eventually, is by completing various challenges. Challenges will also sprawl or pop up in a randomised way, but they will start off small and get more and more complicated over time. And so initially it will be things like put 10 houses together, and you'll do that by pushing houses together so that the hexagonal edges always push out, and you can tell by like the roads that go around where else you can connect things to, and the houses or the trees, if you're making a forest, will highlight up to show you that everything is going to connect nicely together and it will grow and grow and grow. However, those numbers will continue to increase over time, and some of them will start to get more and more nitpicky. So it might be that you've made a nice forest of 250 trees, and then your next one will say, but I only want to live in a forest which has got 50 trees in. So if you made it or put it up against that rest of the 250, you've already overblown what that challenge is, so you'll need to start setting out something elsewhere. As your city sprawls out further and further, you'll start to come across tiles that give unique challenges, and this is where all of the Steam achievements come into play. As you hit these different hidden tile areas, you'll then be given some exceptionally difficult challenges, such as maybe a 1,000 tree forest or a 250 home village, or a certain amount of cornfields, for example. The whole thing is then about trying to connect all the different dots together, and depending on how you've sprawled out your city, that might be more tricky or less tricky, depending on how you've planned and what you've been given. And then when you do that, it unlocks some special tiles, which then get added into your random deck. So you'll start off maybe with some windmills, then you'll start to get these beautiful water stations that allow trains to move in and out of, deer wandering around, and it just creates a much more vibrant and lived in from a plane from above feel is how I would describe the game, because it's so pretty and so beautiful, and it just is idyllic. Capping up all of this is that you don't have any time pressure. You can just beautifully maneuver around the world, and you can make every decision count. If you're looking at really maximising your score, though, you'll want to make sure that things are tessellating next to each other, I guess is probably the best way to say it. And by that means that you will close in loops. Occasionally you'll get things called flag challenges, and what this means is that you can't have just like an endless sprawl of something chained up and connected. You'll need to close the loop so that a village becomes an enclosed village, or lots of fields become like an enclosed collection of fields. Doing this means that you'll then get more points for completing that flag request, but then also it means that you've then closed the loop on smaller ventures, which means if you then get challenges further on down the line which require big huge numbers, you're going to have to start from scratch. it's tricky because you need to be able to close loops out to get big scores, and if you manage to mirror all of the different hexagonal sides together, you'll also get perfect bonuses as well, and all of these roll up beautifully so that you can get some really good tile scores. But in doing so, you're also limiting some of your possibilities and making sure that you're going to have to build the next lot from scratch. When the game finally comes to an end, you'll get your full score, and that will go onto the online scoreboard and you'll see your leaderboard position. And then you can enter into creative mode. Very similar to Mini Metro or Mini Motorways, you then basically have the idea to start painting out the town exactly how you want to, and you can clone different tiles and move them around, and it's really quite beautiful in the way how you can then sprawl out a semi-randomly generated town because you don't have exact precision on what things are done or how things lay out in that tile, but you can keep on cloning and trying different designs until you get the exact one you want. Or you can have a bit of a free form like river floating through the forest around you, almost like an Ardennes version of London. Outside of that, you also have the hard mode, which is where the challenges are much more complex and few and far between. So you have to make sure that every challenge lands and matters for you to stay in the game. And there's also monthly mode, where everyone gets the same starter for the month and you're all competing against the exact same, I guess, seed, so that you can then have a fully fledged leaderboard as you go along. When playing in creative mode, the game gives me Townscaper vibes. Because of that, you've not quite got 100% control over everything, so there's happy accidents that happen as you play out throughout the game. And with the beautiful aesthetic, the relaxing music that just seems to idly play along with like a summer breeze going on in the background, it's just super chill. And I just find myself losing half hour at a time, just going in, having a little noodle around, clearing some of the overarching challenges and getting some higher scores, and just taking my time understanding all of those nuances and gameplay mechanics that just continue to unveil themselves before me as I dive deeper into this game, and I just love it to bits. So a wholehearted, complete recommendation from me, Dorfromantik, one of the best relaxing games that I've come across in recent memory. 2 huge thumbs up from me. Written review will be over on highplayinggames.com. Any comments or questions, leave them down below so that I can help you out. Cheers for watching and happy gaming. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplanenetwork. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.